Hello students, this is Dr. Rahul Kaushik, and today we are going to discuss one of the important topic of your syllabus, industrial production, estimation and utilization of phytoconstants. In the previous lecture we have covered the phytoconstant forskolin, and today we are going to discuss on cyanosides. Cyanosides, if you look at the structure, it's a dimeric anthraquinone glycosides with O linkage, and this compound is isolated from the leaves and the pods of Cassia angustifolia. The plant belongs to the family Leguminosae. If you look at the structure, you can easily understand that why these compounds are termed as anthraquinone. This cyanoside is containing a dimer of two anthracene ring, which are further attached to a glucose moiety with the help of oxygen, and this compound or these anthraquinone glycosides can also be termed as O-glycosides due to the linkage of sugar moiety with the aglycone moiety with the help of oxygen. If we talk about the geographical distribution of Cassia angustifolia, it is native to Arabia, Somalia, Sindh and Western India, and these include the parts of Punjab and Gujarat. Cyanosides, it exists in four forms. Cyanoside A, which is a trans form, and it is optically active and it rotates the plane of polarized light towards left, so it is levorotatory, and it is available in high concentration in the senna leaves, but it is insoluble in water. Next cyanoside is cyanoside B, which exists in mesoform. It also occurs in high concentration, but it is water soluble. Next form of cyanoside is cyanoside C, which is also a trans form, and the aglycone moiety in this form is levorotatory, but it is available in very low concentration as compared to the cyanoside A and cyanoside B. Next form is cyanoside D. It is mesoform of cyanoside. It is dextrorotatory and available in low concentration. Since we are concerned about the isolation part or extraction or production part of cyanosides, so we must know what raw material we are going to use for production and isolation of cyanosides. So if you look into the pictures, the first picture is of the fresh leaves of Cassia angustifolia or senna leaf. In Hindi it is called as sanai leaves, you can say. In the next picture you can see the dried leaves of senna and dried powder of senna leaves. In the picture below you can see the senna pods in the right and calcium cyanosides senna leaves in the left. So this is all to know, to let you know or to make an easy understanding about the physical appearance of senna leaves from which we are going to isolate our phytoconstant cyanosides. Since here we are concerned about the phytoconstants, so when we talk about the phytoconstants, the mechanism of action is also very important to understand. So here if you look into the picture, when senna or anthraquinone enters the gut lumen, this is your intestine, when it enters the lumen, what it do, it is hydrolyzed into cynidin A and cynidin B with the help of gut bacteria present in the lumen of the gut. Then these cynidins A and cynidins B, with the help of beta glucosides, they are converted into rheenanthrone, and this rheenanthrone is very important for the laxative effect of these cyanosides. So if you look in the picture above, you see that what this rheenanthrone do, It increases the secretion of fluid inside the lumen of the intestine, and it also causes irritation of the gastric mucosa, and together along with the muscle contraction it causes peristalsis or the movement of bowel inside your intestine. So in this way it causes its laxative action inside the intestine. If you look at the production of sinusides, so there are a number of methods for production of sinusides. So this method is the basic method where we obtain sinuside in the form of a mixture. So what happened here, we took the senna leaves, powdered senna leaves, which are defatted using organic solvent, or simply here we have used benzene in electric shaker for 2 hours, and then the mixture is, or the extract is filtered. The filtrate from this filtration is discarded since it contains a large number of fatty material, whereas the murk which was there on the filter paper, it was dried and again extracted with methanolic extract 70% for a period of 4 hours. After the extraction for 4 hours, the mixture is then filtered under vacuum and concentrated partially. This concentrated extract is then acidified with hydrochloric acid, the pH of which was adjusted to 3.0 to 3.2. The mechanism or the motto behind addition of this acid is to cause the digestion of impurities, or you can say to dissolve the impurities available in the extract, and then the mixture is filtered again. To this filtrate we add calcium chloride, which is prepared in denatured spirit. Since here we are going to get sinusides in the form of calcium sinuside, so this calcium chloride will precipitate your sinusides. The mixture is then basified. After the acidic digestion, we basify the mixture by using ammonia, pH 8.0, and kept aside for 2 hours. After 2 hours, the calcium sinusides, these are obtained in the form of precipitate, which are further then separated and dried in desiccator using phosphorus pentoxide. So using this method we obtain the crude mixture of sinuside in the form of pale brownish hygroscopic powder, which is to be saved carefully or stored carefully under non-hygroscopic conditions. Then there is another method for sinuside where we isolate the sinusides separately. Sinuside A is separated and sinuside B is also separated individually. Here what we do, we took the senna leaf powder and extract it with ethanol chloroform in a combination of 93:7 for 30 minutes, and after the extraction the mixture content was again re-extracted with acidic alcohol, which was acidified using oxalic acid in methanol, and kept overnight at room temperature. So here after keeping it overnight, what happened on the next morning, you will obtain the precipitate of sinuside A, which is then recrystallized with the help of solvent triethylamine. Now from the mixture left behind, we can isolate the sinuside B. The sinuside B is precipitated from the mixture using 10% methanolic solution of calcium chloride and separated using methanol ammonia in a ratio of 60:40 ml mixture. From this mixture, sinuside B is then recrystallized using glycomonoethyl ether. So there are some instruments which we have used during the isolation procedures or during the extraction procedures. So there is the picture you can see in the slide. In the left you can see the Soxhlet apparatus. Soxhlet apparatus, which is a combination of three units: condenser, extractor and mantle. Mantle is supplied with the heat, and in the round bottom flask we kept the solvent, which will be used for the extraction of drug. The drug will be packed in the extractor. What happen when we provide the heat to the solvent? It starts evaporation, and through a side tube it enters the extractor, and as soon as it enters the extractor it tries to escape from the top, but top is provided with condenser where the vapors gets condensed in the form of droplet, and they fall freely over the drug where the extraction carried out. The extract from the extractor is recycled to the solvent bank placed at the bottom using a special tube or a special assembly which is called as siphon tube. So this is the basic instrument, Soxhlet apparatus, which we have used for extraction purposes of phytoconstituents. Then there is another instrument which we have, or you can say another apparatus which we have used for separating the two immiscible liquids on the basis of their densities. So it is called a separating funnel. You can see in the picture that there are two layers, two immiscible layers, and we can easily separate the two liquids on the basis of their solubility and their densities. Then there is another instrument which is very essential for the efficacy of solvent recovery and efficacy of the extraction procedure. Here what happen, the extract which is containing the phytoconstituent as well as the solvent, we put it into the round bottom flask which is kept over the heating mantle or heating mechanism provided. Water bath here we have provided. So due to the water vapors, the solvent in the extract it gets evaporated at a very low temperature, because the assembly is also provided with the mechanisms for vacuum. So under the influence of vacuum, or you can say negative pressure, the vapors gets evaporated at a very low temperature, preventing the degradation of phytoconstituents inside the extract. So this method is, or this mechanism is also very important in sense of the method efficacy and the solvent recovery. Here we can get the condensed solvent in the another beaker which is called a collector, or round bottom flask, which is attached in the left side in the bottom of this rotary vacuum evaporator. If you look at the physical properties of this cyanocytes, you can see that the melting point of cyanocyte is from 200 to 240 degrees Celsius. Boiling point is 1144.8 degrees Celsius at 760 mm of pressure, Hg pressure. Cyanocytes, it occurs in the form of yellow brown powder with a slight odor and taste. The calcium cyanocytes we obtain is having a density of 1.743 and a molecular weight of 862.7 grams per mole. It occurs in the form of yellow brown powder. As far as the water solubility is concerned, we have already seen only cyanocyte B is water soluble. So the water solubility is quite low. It is 0.04086 mg per liter at 25 degrees Celsius. If we look at the lambda max at which this cyanocyte absorbs the maximum radiation of ultraviolet radiation, it is 276 nanometers. It is very essential to know for actual identification and estimation of these cyanocytes in the samples. There is an identification test since the phytoconstituent belongs to the anthraquinone category of glycoside. So there is a well-known test which is called as Bontrager's test. What we do here, we took the dried extract and to which 1 ml of dilute HCl is added. Then the mixture is heated for few minutes, filtered when it is hot. To the filtrate, Equal volume of chloroform was added and the mixture was shaken well. The layers of chloroform after shaking can be separated easily using the separating funnel, the functioning of which we have already discussed. After isolating the chloroform layer, we add ammonia to the chloroform layer, and again the product is shaken well inside the separating funnel. Then the lower ammonical layer shows pink color, which indicates the presence of anthraquinone glycosides. So this is the basic and the very essential test for the estimation of cyanocytes in the sample. If we look at the separation and identification of these cyanocytes using sophisticated techniques like high performance thin layer chromatography or thin layer chromatography and high pressure liquid chromatography, and these techniques are being used nowadays for accurate estimation, identification, quantification and qualification of phytoconstituents or other chemical moieties inside our drug sample. So in TLC and HPTLC, we have taken the pre-coated silica gel plates with the silica gel 60F254. 60 is the size of the silica gel which we have used. F is the fluorescent material which we have added for making the background fluorescent while observing, and 254 is the lambda max of the UV radiation at which this shows maximum fluorescence. If we look at the mobile phase which we have used 2-propanol, ethyl acetate, water and formic acid in the combination of 8:5.8:0.2. So this mobile phase was used for TLC and HPTLC development. Flow rate is not applicable here. We have detected the isolated chromatograms or isolated spots on the chromatogram using para-anisaldehyd reagent, which was sprayed on the plate, and the plate was heated at 110 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes and was observed under long wavelength ultraviolet radiations at 366 nanometers. After this spray, we got the RF values of cyanocyte A and cyanocyte B at RF value of 0.52 and 0.32. The sample for TLC and HPTLC was prepared by taking the leaf powder and refluxing it along with the sonication at sonication 3 times using 10 ml of the solvent for 45 minutes, and the mixture was then filtered and concentrated at 50 degrees Celsius, and the mixture was again make up to 10 ml and used for the HPTLC and TLC sample. A standard was prepared by dissolving 1 milligram per ml each of your cyanocyte A and cyanocyte B in methanol. For high performance liquid chromatography or HPLC, we have taken the column, the C18 column we have used. The dimensions of column are 250 into 4.6 millimeter, and 5 micrometer is the pore size of packing of silica gel inside the column, and we have operated the column at 40 degrees Celsius. The mobile phase which we have used for HPLC analysis of cyanocytes in the sample is acetonitrile, water and phosphoric acid combination in the ratio of 20, 80 and 0.1. The flow rate for mobile phase inside the column was maintained at 1.2 ml per minute, and 20 microliter of injection was injected into the column. The detection was done at 380 nanometer in the using the ultraviolet detector. The RT value in the HPLC was obtained at cyanocyte A shows an RT value of retention time value of 7.7 minutes, and cyanocyte B shows a retention time of 4.37 minutes. The sample prepared for HPLC was prepared by dissolving 5 gram of the drug in 45 ml of the solvent. The solvent was a ratio of 7:3 methanol and 0.2 aqueous sodium hydrogen carbonate plus ultrasonicated for 30 minutes. The mixture was then filtered and injected into the high performance liquid chromatography. The standard was prepared by dissolving 2 mg of each of Sanucide A and Sanucide B in 10 ml of the solvent and 0.1% sodium hydrogen carbonate. This is the solvent in which the standards was dissolved, sodium hydrogen carbonate 0.1%. Then if you can see in the picture, this is the plates of TLC and HPTLC of Sanucides, where on the track 1 you can easily observe Sanucide A, and on the track 2 you can observe the Sanucide B at respective RFs. 1, 2, 3, 4 are the samples of Senna leaves, and pod is the sample of Sanucide pod or Senna pods, in which we can easily detect the isolated Sanucide A and Sanucide B respectively. If we look at the HPLC chromatogram of Senna extract for Sanucides, you can observe the Sanucide A at the peak of Sanucide A at 7.753 minutes, and the peak of Sanucide B at 4.307 minutes inside this chromatogram. So this is the utilization of Sanucides, since they are well known natural laxatives, so they are widely employed for the treatment and management of constipation, irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, and bowel preparation for colon procedures, and anti-inflammatory and antiparasitic action. Their anti-parasitic or anti-inflammatory action are due to the presence of high concentration of resveratrol inside the Senna leaves. So this is all about your isolation, production and utilization of Sanucides. Thank you so much for watching this video. In case you like this video, you can visit our YouTube channel, which is Ramesh Institute of Pharmacy e-learning, and you can like and subscribe for more updates. Thank you so much. Thanks for your patience. In case of any more information you need, you can mail me at drrahulkcsji@gmail.com. Thank you so much. Thanks for your patience.